and welcome to another video where I go through and I budget my paycheck and show you exactly how I'm using my money to reach my financial goals. I was paid last Friday, which means I am budgeting that paycheck. For some context on me, I'm Sandra. I'm a 26-year-old occupational therapist. I'm working to pay off 6 figures of student loan debt while also working to have $100,000 invested by the time I turn 30 in 2029. Usually when I film these videos, I actually have a lot of prep work done, but to be honest, this week has been massively hectic, so I don't have all that prep work done. So you're gonna get to see this literally the step-by-step. Also, you'll notice the background is different. It is my less aesthetic office. Jake and I share an office space currently. It works out just fine. So before we even get going, I don't actually know how much I was paid from this last paycheck because that is how crazy my week has been. So we have a lot to get done in this video, starting with figuring out how much I was paid. I usually just log on my phone app. I'm just gonna log in to my bank account here and check my last direct deposit from my job. Okay, I made $2,008.40 the last time I was paid. So I'm just gonna plug that in. That was on August 22nd. So 8/22. What did I say? $2,008.40. This is for me. Jake contributes just a flat $5,000 a month, so we're just gonna pull his as $2,500. Okay, so that brings our total income to $9,031 for the month, giving us $5,007 left to work with, or about $4,500 to assign. So let's actually just start going through our fixed expenses. And what I wanna do is I wanna assign all of our fixed expense bills. This doesn't mean that I'm spending this much money, but how we manage our finances is we average our expenses that kind of vary and just assign that much money and build a bucket for them, which is why I call this category a bucket. So if you imagine a literal pail, I'm tossing in this much money and then I'll spend however much out of it, and then whatever's left over just stays in that pail. And then if one month I toss in $50 but spend $75, there's money in the pail to cover that expense for that category. I like to do this for things like gas and power that vary a lot, so that I'm not trying to budget $300 a month in the winter and $100 a month in the summer. Rather, I just pull an average for the 12 months. Let's do it. $187 for our fixed expenses for gas and power, and then you'll see it just kind of pops right in there and says, hey, I've done this. $80 for fixed expenses for water, $40 for fixed expenses for trash. So now we have money set aside. I've given it the job to pay for all of our fixed expenses. In the monthly reset, I'll share what we spent in each of these categories, but right now I'm just assigning the money from our spending. So we have assigned $5,202 of our $9,031. So we have about $3,900 left to work with. I haven't saved any money, so that's what I want to do next, is save for each of my emergency fund savings. Just like that, we have our savings. We've assigned money to each of these categories. This leaves us with about $900 left over, which I'm going to put towards my debt. So let's go ahead and make a $900 payment to my student loans. I'm actually gonna make an $800 payment because I kind of want to build a little buffer here. Okay, so now you're gonna make a student loan payment with me. How fun. Look at this. This is a secret, okay? I'm logging in. Actually, please log in and pay my student loans. I would love that. Go ahead. Here's my information. Just kidding. So currently my balance is $83,647. I'm gonna make a payment of $800, which will bring my balance into the 82,000s. Moderately annoying because that means that next month I won't quite break 80,000, but then the next month I will, so that'll be good. So I go over here to custom pay, specify for each loan, and currently I'm paying off my highest interest loan at 6.5%. I need to run the numbers on this because technically with this loan being $10,000 more, it's more of the interest bully, where the interest on that is actually higher because the balance is so much higher than this loan, which has a higher interest rate. So I need to run the numbers on how much of a difference that actually makes, because I do just kind of want to pay a loan off, because ultimately once I pay a loan off, I also free up a minimum payment, and the minimum payment on these loans is a couple $100, where if I'm able to just roll that minimum payment into paying off the next loan, that would go straight to principal on the next loan. So I think the difference isn't significant enough for it to not be worth dramatically paying down this higher interest loan so that I can free that up sooner, versus trying to like juggle both of these loans and paying more aggressively towards the one that has more interest. Because once I pay $10,000 off of that $27,000 loan, the interest on the $17,000 loan will be higher, but then I've put $10,000 towards something but not gotten closer to freeing up $200 or $300 depending on which loan it is, you know? I think I'm just gonna keep tagging along. In my head, that makes the most sense, but honestly, I haven't run the numbers, which is so against everything that I've ever said. But I just haven't had time, so I'm gonna keep going with my immediate plan, and we're gonna put $800 straight to this loan. With my first paycheck, I made my minimum payment, so this payment technically only goes to principal on this loan for the month, which is pretty cool. And then I like to advance my due date by the number of payments I cover, so this $800, if my minimum payment is $200, then my next 4 payments are covered, and I technically won't owe on this loan for another 4 months. I do this just because if something did happen, it does give me like a little bit of a buffer where I don't owe on any of these loans for a little while and I can get back on my feet. And now we have a pending payment for $800 that out of my pocket, I'll have put $1,860 towards my loans this month. Towards the end of the month, I'll receive this extra $200 payment towards my loan, so that'll put me right at $2,000 paid. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and just track this debt payment in my budget. So as we can see here, I have assigned $8,885 of my $9,000 of income for the month. I have $3,000 left to spend. So the difference between cash left and cash assigned is that I believe in a zero-based budget where I give every single dollar a job. So assigning the money doesn't necessarily mean that it's been spent, but it does mean that it has been assigned its job. And then when I actually go pay those bills, I track that as an expense. This is my balance. So cash that's left is when the money actually leaves my account. And that's where those discrepancies between when I assign money to a bucket and don't actually spend it happen. But I know that I've given that money a job, and then my budget will allow that bucket to carry over into the next month. And I can see that I have X number of dollars in that bucket left to spend. The only thing that I haven't done is I did actually have my money withdrawal to my investments, but I have not actually invested it. So I thought it would be fun if you guys came along and just invested the money with me. Oh wait, JK, I thought that I hadn't invested my money, but I haven't even pulled it over for the month. So let's do that. It takes a couple business days, so I won't actually be able to invest it in this video, but if you're interested in a video where I invest my money, let me know, because I can definitely do that. I have this set up to autopay. I don't know why it's not, but whatever. Quick little investment check-in. I am at $5,557 invested in this account. I'm really looking forward, like right now there's like very clear stair steps of when I invest money, but my investment amount is so small, it's like $580, that one day it'll be more of like a bell curve because the money that I'll be making on this account will be kind of similar to what I'm actually adding to it, so that'll be fun. Okay, so JK, there's nothing to do here. Sorry for getting your hopes up if you were really looking forward to that. But yeah, that is how I budgeted my second paycheck in August and what I did with the money. Hopefully you enjoyed tagging along, and I post these every other week when I get paid to kind of just keep some financial transparency about how I'm actually making money moves. It's a good time. So if you want to stick around, go ahead and hit subscribe. You can catch the next video here. Your pleasure to have in class. Also, liking and commenting on this video help it so much. So if you want to do that, please do. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.